When you're planning a Disney World trip, there are probably a few things you want to avoid: shoulder to shoulder crowds, sky high pricing, and weather that can make the day feel longer than it should. But here's the thing: 2026 isn't like the past few years. So, in this video, we're breaking down the worst times to visit Disney World in 2026 and when you should go instead so you can be one step ahead of everyone else in the parks. Up next. Welcome aboard. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Disney, and even if you've been to Disney World before, think you know the patterns, 2026 brings a few surprises. So when we talk about the worst days and weeks to visit Disney World, we're looking at a few consistent factors that affect most families. Number one is crowd levels, and this is not just wait times. The more crowded Disney World is, the longer you wait for everything: buses to the parks, food at the restaurants, and you need to show up earlier and earlier to get good seats for the fireworks shows. There's also value and cost. Ticket and hotel prices tend to peak at certain times of the year, meaning you're paying more for the same or even less experience. And then there are seasonal disruptions, whether it's summer weather or certain events like RunDisney marathons that can also affect your trip. Now, of course, we love going to Disney World, and we're not saying it's impossible to visit Disney World, especially if you have limited vacation or there's only certain times of year to go. You can absolutely still have a great trip, but understanding how these factors combine helps you plan smarter and avoid unnecessary stress. So we have plenty of tips in this video to help you navigate whatever time you go to Disney World. But when you think of the busiest time or the worst time to go to Disney World, probably top on your mind are the holidays. The 2 weeks around Christmas and New Year's is typically the busiest 2 weeks in Disney World. The parks are busy from rope drop until fireworks, and even with extra entertainment and decor, long waits and sold out dining are common. It's not uncommon for parks to actually get to capacity as well. Thanksgiving Day itself tends to be crowded, and the whole week leading up to it sees elevated crowds as families take advantage of the holiday break. EPCOT's Festival of the Holidays usually runs through this period with seasonal offerings that draw even more guests, especially locals on the weekends. This year, Easter falls on Sunday, April 5th. Traditionally, the week before and after Easter is one of the busiest times to go to Disney World, as many schools schedule spring breaks around this weekend. And in 2026, spring break will overlap with the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival, which is running from March 4th to June 1st, which keeps EPCOT busy through the spring. While it is great to go to Disney World during the holidays, these weeks do feel pretty tough. Prices are high, standby and lightning lane windows disappear early, and walkways feel full all day. Even with longer park hours, a lot of your time ends up in line or waiting for dining or other experiences. So what can you do instead? Well, you can go in the first or second week of December. This used to be a hidden gem, not so much anymore as more and more people have learned the secret, but still far less busy than going actually during Christmas. And you still get a lot of the holiday cheer. There's still the Christmas decorations, merchandise, seasonal offerings, with far fewer crowds. Now, if you're planning to go to Easter, late April this year might be a better option. There tend to be fewer crowds, the weather is warm but not brutal, and you can still catch EPCOT's Flower and Garden Festival before the summer rush starts. So yes, the holiday weeks are unforgettable. But if you don't care so much about the holidays and you want that breathe easy and enjoy every ride kind of Disney trip, shifting your dates by even a week or two can make a world of difference. Now let's talk about some of the weeks that look harmless on a crowd calendar, but can catch you way off guard. And these include some of the RunDisney weekends and youth sports championships. If you've ever tried to rope drop Magic Kingdom during a RunDisney weekend, you know what I mean. The roads are partially closed, traffic is rerouted, and buses move slower than usual because runners are on the course before sunrise. This year, the marathon weekend is January 7th through 11th and impacts almost every park, especially Magic Kingdom and EPCOT. There's also the Princess Half Marathon, which takes place from February 26th through March 2nd, and the Springtime Surprise, which runs from April 16th through the 20th, which draw big crowds of runners and spectators. There's also the Wine and Dine Half Marathon, which is taking place from October 22nd through the 25th. This happens during EPCOT's Food and Wine Festival, making that weekend one of EPCOT's busiest of the year. And just when you think things quiet down, late January brings a wave of youth sports groups like the Field Hockey Sunshine Showcase, January 23rd through the 25th, and the National Cheerleading Championships, January 30th through February 1st. Now, the parks themselves aren't necessarily gridlocked. but the resorts are. If you're at the all-star resorts, expect louder evenings, packed buses, and food courts that feel like halftime at a stadium. If your trip falls in these windows, book a moderate resort like Coronado Springs or Caribbean Beach. They offer a quieter atmosphere and better transportation options. And if you're visiting during a race weekend, use that early morning lull to your advantage. Go to Animal Kingdom or Hollywood Studios around 10 a.m. when most runners are still showering or napping, and you'll find surprisingly manageable lines. But Disney Run Marathons aren't the only special events happening at Disney World that can catch you off guard. So perhaps the easiest way to save money and ensure you're at Disney World at the right time is working with an authorized Disney vacation planner. Now, Heidi and I are not travel advisors. That's why we partner with Mouse Fan Travel. We love working with our personal consultant, Blair, who navigates all the options and makes sure we get the best available prices and helps us take advantage of any promotions or inclusions. Plus, their services are completely free. So scan the QR code or use our exclusive link in the description to book your next Disney adventure with Mouse Fan Travel. Let's talk about summer. Summer is one of the trickiest times to plan a Disney trip because it sounds flexible, but in reality, mid-June through early August is one of the busiest stretches of the year. With schools out across the country, Disney World fills up fast. You'll see longer wait times for headline attractions, packed walkways by mid-morning, and much fuller buses and Skyliner cabins. Fireworks and parades also draw heavier crowds, which means needing to claim a viewing spot much earlier than other times of year. On top of the crowds, Central Florida summer adds another layer of challenge. High heat and humidity can make moving around the parks more tiring, and afternoon thunderstorms are very common, often shutting down outdoor attractions for a short period. When those thunderstorms come, the crowds shift indoors, and lines for shows, shops, and quick service dining can spike. If summer is your only option, planning becomes especially important. Start your days early and aim to be done with major rides by early afternoon. Take longer midday breaks to rest and cool off. Pack lightweight clothing, cooling towels, and rain gear so storms don't derail your plans. But there is a silver lining to summer: late August. This is where summer can actually work in your favor. As schools begin to go back in session, crowds start to thin out noticeably. Ticket prices and hotel rates often drop, and wait times become more manageable, especially on weekdays. The weather is still hot though, believe us, it is very hot. But if you're prepared for it, late August can be one of the better value windows of the year. 2026 is set to be a season of change for Disney World. Some classics are returning, and some fan favorites are getting a facelift. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is expected to reopen in spring of 2026. New track work, updated lighting, and a few fun surprises are rumored. But when it reopens, Frontierland will be packed. Expect long standbys and lightning lane competition, similar to what we saw with Tiana's Bayou Adventure in 2024. And we expect, at least for the first couple of weeks and months, that Disney will be using a virtual queue system to help manage the lines for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin is set to return with improved ride tech and more reliable laser systems, and I know Heidi's really happy about that one. Now, the ride closed in August of 2025, and according to Disney, it will reopen sometime in spring of 2026. And again, when it reopens, expect longer than usual lines. You still have time to enjoy the original Rock and Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith before the attraction closes on March 2nd. When Rock and Roller Coaster reopens in summer of 2026, I'll have a brand new Muppets layover. And again, we expect this to be very popular when it reopens, and don't be surprised if there's a virtual queue set up for this attraction. But those are just some of the new updates coming to Disney World in 2026. And lucky for you, right here on YouTube, we have a complete look at everything that's going to be new in 2026, from all the new rides, character experiences, plus updates and changes that you need to know, and we link to it down in the description. Dinosaur fans have only a few weeks as Dinosaur at Animal Kingdom officially closes on February 2nd of 2026. The area will start transforming into the new Tropical America's Land, which is expected to include an Indiana Jones-inspired ride opening in 2027. With the closure of Dinosaur, there are now even fewer attractions to soak up the crowds at Animal Kingdom. This is why it's even more important than ever to use early entry if you're staying at a Disney resort to rope drop Avatar Flight of Passage. At Magic Kingdom, construction continues on the Cars-themed Piston Peak National Park expansion. This project follows the removal of Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island in 2025, so expect construction walls, rerouted walkways, and some visual and noise spillover in 2026. If you're planning a Frontier-heavy day once Big Thunder Mountain Railroad returns, budget a little extra time for crowd pinch points near the project perimeter. Over at Hollywood Studios, you'll see active construction in and around the former Muppets Courtyard, Grand Avenue, as Disney continues to build Monstropolis, a Monsters Inc. themed land. What does this mean for your trip in 2026? Well, when one big attraction closes, crowds naturally shift somewhere else. That's why checking the refurbishment calendar a week or two before your trip is one of the smartest planning moves you can make. Because, of course, Disney routinely closes attractions for short periods of time for routine maintenance or for other refurbishments, so it's always good to be flexible during your trip. EPCOT festivals are beautiful, and they bring a different kind of crowd than the holidays do. There's the EPCOT International Festival of the Arts, which runs from January 16th to February 23rd. It's a celebration of visual, culinary, and performing arts. There's also the EPCOT International Flower and Garden Festival, which runs from March 4th through June 1st, which includes topiaries, outdoor kitchens, and seasonal blooms. There's also the EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival, which typically runs from late August through the middle of November. A long run of global cuisine, special entertainment, and as we already mentioned, there's also the Marathon Weekend. There's also the EPCOT International Festival of the Holidays, which runs from the end of November through the end of December, and brings seasonal food, holiday storytellers in the pavilions, and festive entertainment that showcases traditions from around the world. These festivals span large chunks of the year and change crowd flow. Another thing that can quietly spike crowds on certain days is the EPCOT's concert schedule. During the Festival of the Arts, on select nights, there's a Disney on Broadway concert series. During the Food and Wine, the Eat to the Beat concert series, where certain performers, especially Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, draw up much larger crowds. And during the Festival of the Holidays, the Candlelight Processional can create big evening surges on nights with popular narrators. So if you're going to EPCOT during one of these festivals and you want a calmer day, aim for weekdays and visit earlier in the day, or avoid nights with high demand performers at these concert series. Concerts or Candlelight Processional are on your must-do list. Consider purchasing a dining package as a smart way to lock in seating and avoid long lines. You also want to avoid the first weekend and the last weekend of festivals, as those tend to be the busiest, as individuals, especially locals, either want to test out the new things or get there for one last round. Either way, knowing which days and nights draw bigger crowds at the EPCOT festivals helps you decide whether to lean into the energy or plan around it. In the fall and winter, along with the holidays, also comes party season. It's one of the most festive and confusing parts of Disney scheduling. From mid-August through Halloween, there's Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Then from early November through Christmas, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party takes over. Here's some things guests don't realize. On party days, Magic Kingdom closes to regular guests usually around 6 p.m. That means if you bought a full day park ticket but don't have a party wristband, you will be gently guided out and there won't be any fireworks. So you're definitely not getting the best value for a day ticket at Magic Kingdom during these events. Now if you have a park hopper, you can start at Magic Kingdom in the morning, do your must-do rides early, and then hop to EPCOT or Hollywood Studios by 3 or 4 p.m. before the party crowds arrive. Or plan a resort evening, book dinner at Ohana, and then stick around at the Polynesian beach to watch the special events fireworks for free. And if you want the party experience itself, those ticket events are amazing, but they are pricey. But you get shorter ride lines, special parades, and treats that you can't get any other time of year. Just know those nights sell out early, so grab tickets a couple months in advance if you're aiming to go to the Halloween or Christmas parties. After talking you through the busiest and most challenging times of year to go Disney World, we're going to share with you the best times for most families. Early May is one of our favorite windows. Spring break crowds are gone. Summer vacation hasn't started yet, and the weather is warm without being overwhelming. You still get EPCOT's Flower and Garden Festival, but with more manageable wait times and easier park days. Late January, especially after Marathon Weekend wraps up, is another great time to visit. Crowds settle down. Prices are almost at their lowest, and the weather is usually mild enough to enjoy full park days without the summer heat. And in fact, you might get some cold days where you actually need outerwear. On the other end, late August through early September is another solid choice, especially if you're flexible. Crowds drop off as schools go back to session, and prices usually follow. But as we mentioned, it's still hot and stormy. So this works best if you're comfortable starting early, taking midday breaks, pacing yourself. And finally, early December is great if you want holiday magic without holiday chaos. Decorations are up, seasonal food and entertainment are running, but crowds are much lighter than Christmas week itself. The weather is cooler too, which makes long park days easier. None of these weeks are crowd free, as Disney is busy year round, but these times of year are considerably more comfortable, more affordable, and easier to plan around than peak holidays or summer vacation. We know that was a lot, and you might still feel a little overwhelmed. That's why we're making a special offer just for you. We want to send you a free copy of our Ultimate Disney World Planning Guide, which covers all of this and more. It has everything we wish we knew before our first visit. Plus, you'll get printable checklists and budget worksheets that'll keep you organized from booking to park entry. It's 50 plus pages of honest advice from a team that has been going to Disney World for over 30 years with countless visits. So scan the QR code on screen or click on the link down in the description to get your free copy today. And of course, there's more great Disney World tips and tricks right here on YouTube, including our look at the Disney World loopholes that most guests don't know about. These insider tips will save you time, money, and ensure you stay one step ahead of everyone else in the parks.